What is your favorite music to listen to while designing? Tough one.
You know what? I got a subscription on Pandora because I kept hitting my 40-hour listening limit per month.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I've been listening to a lot of the 90s, like discovering a lot of 90s music. So like, you know, so I mean, like Dinosaur Jr. I've been listening to, and then, you know, all the kind of related stuff. And I just found out about this band called The Replacements, who've been around for like 30 years. So.
Yeah.
Fun
Listen
stuff.
to the band you're designing for, like, get you in the mood.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been lucky. I mean, the bands that approach me, they by and large they haven't sucked, so it makes things easier. I will say once or twice that it's been difficult to sort of generate images from their sound or their lyrics. I might not say that they're here, but I'll sometimes listen to another band and sort of get going on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of cheating in a way, but.
I'm really fascinated by color combinations. I think they're amazing. Are you inspired by anything, or do you just have this theme with your colors?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I'm inspired or influenced by a lot of stuff, and I would look outside of design. I think this is a pretty good area to see things visually outside design. There are museums, there's nature, there's antique, there whatever. There's weird buildings, there's comics, there's plenty of stuff. I mean, I think a common trend, something that just seems to be happening, is sort of a sense of humor in a lot of work, which I think is, you know, really kind of serious. Rock posters always feel a little quiet or a little flat to me. So, you know, taking shopping carts and the Del Monte sticker feels fun to me. These guys are kind of a homespun kind of making music in the basement kind of band. I think there's something just inherently funny about a big slab of ground meat too, even though there's no joke per se going on there.
Now, you said you had a design background. So when did you start experimenting with printmaking? When you were in school? Or when you got
When I was in school, yeah. When I was a freshman, I guess I saw a lot of posters on campus just around town, and every time I turned to ask somebody how they do that, how they print that, because I could see it wasn't a color Xerox, or it probably wasn't offset lithography. I said, oh, it's silkscreen. And you could feel it on the surface. It actually has a certain kind of chalky feel to it, and you can feel where one color ends and another begins. You can kind of feel the layers there. And it has a kind of the color has sort of a density that you just don't get with things like Xeroxes and inkjets and laserjet prints. So I wanted to try it out. I managed to get on a waiting list for a fabric silkscreen class when I was a junior. Got into the class and learned how to print on fabric. I ended up doing a lot of posters on swatches of fabric when I was a junior and senior, and ended up spending a lot of time in the printmaking department as opposed to the design department.
Is it significantly different when you print on fabric as opposed to paper?
It actually is, in a way. I mean, I never took a class in paper printmaking. They use different types of inks. They use different types of emulsions. When you're printing on fabric, you're taping. I mean, all the concepts are there. Like the mechanics of it are basically the same. You're using different ingredients. It's like oil painting versus. It's like going from, you know, acrylic painting or watercolor to oil painting. It's kind of the same game, but it's a different set of things you're working with.
For all of us designers that have never tried printmaking, but maybe we want to get into it, what would you recommend that we do? How do you get a start?
Honestly, I'd recommend taking a class. I mean, I've known a few people to do it sort of on their own and sort of look at a good resource if you kind of want to do it on your own is gigposters.com, believe it or not. They have a screen printing forum there, and I found that to be really useful for some of the problems I had. But I've seen people struggle a lot with doing it on their own. I just bought, for $100, I bought like a load of screens and inks and emulsion and coders and stuff on the guy who just like put up his hands and said I quit. So it's actually I do know a guy, there's a guy named Rich Burnett who actually went to school here, I believe. He's starting out here too. So he came by and visited the studio for tips and tricks and talk shop, and he's getting going on his own screen printing rig too. But I would take a class. Lindsay?
Do you know of any others printing workshops in the area?
Let's see, Pyramid Atlantic, I think, offers them kind of sporadically. I don't offer any, I don't have any workshops slated right now, just because I'm a bit busy and might free up a little bit in later spring or this summer. But there's the Torpedo Factory, there's Pyramid Atlantic. I'm not sure, but the corporate might offer continuing education type classes. I can't think of any others in the area. Maybe a place like Montgomery College, University of Maryland might have continuing education. Actually, University of Maryland has a really great printmaking facility. I don't know what they offer them.
Let me just, I know a lot of you are graduating seniors. Helen Friedrich and I have structured a fall class. I know Christine's going to jump on me, but it's printmaking for graphic design, and it's screen printing. It's exactly what you guys, and eventually
It's like you guys are celebrating.
next. Well, we were waiting.
That's really what's going
And
on.
we're working once again to have a small letterpress donation for the spring of next year. So, not to say you can't take classes here anymore, because you can always come back as a
I know you'd love
Continue.
to have me back.
Well,
I'm just so
something.
excited.
So there's opportunity. I mean, right on the other side of this wall, if you walked into the printmaking, we have the complete, screen printing and the pressure washer and everything for you guys to do. And if you join the Printmakers Guild, they'll be glad to help you, pick that up. So you still have time informally to get some instruction in printmaking, or screen printing. So, sorry.
Do you need any special talents to start printmaking?
Well, patience, honestly.
Okay.
You're gonna have a lot of screw ups. You're gonna have a learning curve. It took me maybe. I'm still working out a lot of kinks. And I've done dozens and dozens and dozens. I've done probably 100 more posters by now, but it took me maybe 10 or 20 to figure out just the getting the exposure right. That the emulsion was getting locked in the screen when I was washing it out, and actually it needed more time under the lamp, not less. But yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve. It's really not for everyone. My brother is a painter. He tried it. It wasn't for him. He was like, no, I'm not interested. If you're interested in the procedure, and if you get something out of the printing and sort of the repetitive Zen-like motion or whatever, it's good. But no, you don't need any special skill.
Did you learn letterpress in school also, or?
I did. I didn't take a class in it, but I had a friend who was more interested. He was interested in letterpress and I was in screen printing, and he showed me some stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But it was I found you had to stick pretty closely to what you had available to you, which was letters, which I kind of I don't know. There was a lot of setup, even more so. There was a lot of setup and takedown involved in letterpress, and it didn't hold my interest all that much. But it's really, really impressive to watch people who do it on a regular basis kind of do their thing. There's places like Hammer Press. There's other places that are just more at Pyramid Atlantic. She's I want to say expert. They actually do have levels of journeyman, apprentice, so on and so forth. But she knows her stuff forwards and backwards, and she teaches letterpress classes at Pyramid Atlantic.
How beneficial has AIGA been for you, and were you in a speaking group when you were in college?
Good question, Lindsay.
State the question.
Say it again, Lindsay.
How beneficial has AIGA
No,
been
wait, say it again.
Say it to the camera.
And were you in a student group when you were in college?
It's a good question. I'm going to answer totally brutally, honestly. The answer is yes. I actually was one of the founding members of the student group at RISD. But in talking with the AIGA Rhode Island chapter, it seems that they don't have a student group anymore. With a place like, with a school like Raised Here, I think a lot of art schools, design schools, they're very, very themselves centric, meaning they're focused very, very much on their curriculum, and they don't really encourage their students to get involved with professional associations like AIGA until after graduating. So if you say it's your senior year, like, all there is your degree project, and that's it. Like, if you're a junior, like, they encourage you to do internships and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, ever since graduating, really, I've gone to AIGA events in the DC area and found them to be really beneficial, and just getting to know other designers through those things has been really, really great.